go buy the song or go, you have to find that special moment. We didn't have, for the generation that doesn't know this, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Apple Music, we didn't have Spotify. We had to wait for those moments, for those special songs to come on the radio, and we had to hit that record button just at the right moment so that we could be able to listen at our leisure. And one of the voices that we were so often fortunate to hear introducing that favorite music to us was Richard Blake. And so I'm really glad that we were able to make today happen and that we are here to celebrate the contributions of this incredible Angelino and really celebrate all of the musical history that he has been giving us lessons on for our generation. So Idea, if you please play the video. Musician, writer, and TV personality. And I don't think there's ever been a bad time to celebrate one of the most influential and special times in musical history. When I think about the 80s and 90s, it's synonymous with Richard Blake. And the music scene at that time really brought to the fore for so many Angelinos and people around the world, music that so often was a world or a long airflight away. It really connected Angelinos to an emerging music scene that was coming out of Great Britain. And so it's been really special to have his voice and his presence here in Los Angeles to help connect us. For many of us, starting at probably, elementary school, junior high, this has been a really remarkable time in music that I feel so often has been overlooked by other mainstream music genres. So many of you know him from his acclaimed career as the most popular DJ and radio host on the world-famous K-Rock. He was born on May 23rd, 1952 in Bristol, England, graduated from Oxford University and started his career as a club DJ in the UK and in Europe, before making the big decision to move to Los Angeles and pursue his dreams. When he came to LA, he showed tremendous determination, knocking on every radio door in California until his knuckles started to bleed, as he recalls it. His big start in US industry began when he competed on KWST for LA's best-known DJ contest and won. He was immediately hired by a popular radio station, KMGM Magic 98 in Bakersfield, where he produced incredible mixes of new wave and rock music. In 1982, he left KMGM Magic and joined K-Rock FM, embarking on a new chapter in his career. At K-Rock, Richard co-hosted the morning show with Raymond Bannister and hosted a daily television program, MV3, which later became Video One on KCAL 9 TV. Johnny, you have to remember Video One, right? Okay. He also hosted several flashback radio programs on K-Rock and was frequently invited to DJ K-Rock nights at the hottest LA dance clubs. He undoubtedly was the best in the game, and his track record proved that as Richard was the top-rated DJ on K-Rock from 1982 to 2000. As a prominent figure in the media industry, he worked with countless legends, such as Rick Carroll, Kevin Weatherly, Jimmy Kimmel, Adam Carolla, and Carson Daly. But Mr. Blade is so much more than a radio personality. He is a television luminary and successful writer. He produced and hosted several music TV programs, such as Video Peak for KTLA and America's Top 10. And he even wrote the second season finale, titled The Cure, for a science fiction series called 7 Days on the United Paramount Network. At MTV, he worked as a writer-producer of Video Hits 1, VH1, and a consultant on the production Bands Reunited. A couple of years later, he joined Sirius Satellite Radio to host Channel 33, First Wave radio show, where he continued to elevate 80s new wave music. He has since released his autobiography, World in My Eyes, and 4 novels, SPGR, Birthright, Imposters, and Ghosts of Congo, which all made #1 on Amazon's bestseller list. Richard Blade is a legend across the board, and he's never stopped sharing his creativity with the world. He recently released a book, The Lockdown Interviews, which also debuted as number one on Amazon's music publications list. Through the years, he's won numerous awards, including a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And today, you can continue to listen to Richard Blade on weekdays and jam out to the hits from the 80s on satellite radio. And it is such an honor to have with us this iconic musical conduit for our city, for Angelenos and people all over the country who know this voice so remarkably well that when you hear it, it's just distinct and you just know that good music is about to play. And it is with great pleasure that on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, Richard, we want to celebrate you today and also declare June 9th, 2023 as Richard Blade Day in the City of Los Angeles. Woo!
First off, thank you to Monica Rodríguez, absolutely fantastic. And it's weird seeing your life flash before you on the screen there and hearing that kind of resume come out. But I'd always kind of dreamed of America when I was a kid. On the video, there was a picture of my hometown, Torquay, and that's in the south of England. And I was about 9 years old, and I remember walking around the harbour with my dad, and we saw all these concrete slipways going into the water. And I said, well, what are those for? They're never used. And he said, they were, son. He said, the Americans went down there on June 6th of 1944, 79 years ago today. So we thank you for that. And that made me fall in love with America. And I thought, wow, those people can be so brave. Maybe that's a country I should go to. And so I started dreaming about it, and I would listen to American music, like the Beach Boys, Surfing Safari, and they'd sing about these exotic destinations like Malibu, Redondo Beach. And I thought, God, it'd be great to go there. And California girls, I thought, oh gosh, find a California girl, maybe a beautiful blonde and marry her. Oh, like that one over there. And it was just one of those things I focused on and watched the Monkees and just dreamt about coming over. And so I toured Europe as a club DJ for about 2 years. But I really wanted to get onto the radio because those were my heroes, the DJs on the radio, particularly an American DJ who was huge in Europe called Emperor Roscoe. And so I thought, I've got to try it. So in November of '76, I came over to Los Angeles, and it had to be LA because that was the city of dreams. That's where the Monkees came from. That's where the Beach Boys were from. That's where 77 Sunset Strip, a detective show I used to watch, was on. And I thought, gosh, let's try LA. And little did I know I'd end up doing gigs on Sunset Strip, and I'd sit down and interview the Monkees with my buddy Peter, who produced Video 1 with me. And so I thought, if I work hard, maybe I can make some dreams come true. And so, after 3 years of rejection from every radio station in town, including KMET, who I really wanted to work for, I got a job, as Monica said, in Bakersfield, California, at Magic 98. And I was playing hard rock when in fact, they hired me. I was Disco Dick Shepherd at the time. And this hard rock station took a chance on me, and I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, we want you to do night times and be music director. And I'm like, wait a minute, I played Donna Summer, Barry White, and George McRae. You know, I rock your baby all night long, but I don't think I can do the hard rock. What is your criteria for the music I had? And they got Ted Nugent's Double Live Gonzo, and they dropped the needle in the middle of Wang Bang Sweet Poontang. And they said, that's as mellow as we get. So I couldn't even play Stairway to Heaven at night, it was too mellow. It was crazy, but after working there, I felt I was learning a lot about radio. So I learned how to sell commercials if I needed to. I had to kind of rebuild the transmitter. And then finally, I got a job in LA, and that was at K-Rock. Or to everyone who grew up with it, K-Rock. And so that was a turning point. From there, everything took off. I was asked to audition for a TV show called Square Pegs with Sarah Jessica Parker, and I got the part on that. And then MV3 came, which was a broadcast TV version of MTV, and they hired me as a host, and I made a lifelong friend with Peter at that time. And everything just took off, and it made me certain at that moment in my life that if you do want to make dreams come true, this is the place to do it. So I am thrilled, I am honored, and so touched. I just wish Mom and Dad were here.
Thank you so much, Richard. And colleagues, on behalf of Richard, it's just wonderful to have you and all of, I know you've got a whole entourage here today, but it's really a testimony to how you've always just made everyone feel when, you know, didn't matter where we were at what stage of our life. When the radio played and your voice came on, it was when we knew that magic was about to happen. And so thank you for the years of introducing us to some of the bands that we love the absolute most. And on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, it is my honor to declare June 9th, 2023, Richard Blade Day in LA.
Hilton Lee. Thank you, Monica, so much. Mr. Blade, you are an icon. I hope you understand the important part and role you played in the lives of so many Angelinos. You defined what music was to us. You introduced us to the bands that were so important to so many of us. Oingo Boingo, Duran Duran, Depeche Mode, that really defined our generation. And Councilmember Rodríguez is so correct when she says, when we hear your voice come on, and we know that it's going to be that classic 80s, music that we grew up with. And I really, really appreciate that you are a resident of Council District 12, and that when I show up to an HOA meeting, I won't say which one, when I show up to that homeowner association music, and I have a busy day and I try to get there, I always get there and they say, oh, Richard Blade just got off, DJing for this entire group of people, and it's always a disappointment. So I'm so honored to be able to have this opportunity to meet you here in council chambers and promise you that if you do DJ again, I will be there on time this next year at the HOA meeting, all right? Thank you so much.
We will vote for you again if you did. By the way, I became a citizen in 1988, and it was the proudest day of my life until now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and a big giant thank you to Councilwoman Rodríguez, who has done a stellar job in bringing all of the heroes to those of us who grew up in the 80s. A big round of applause she's the chairwoman of the 80s caucus. We give her that, and then Mr. Blade, I just wanted to stand up and say thank you in person. I used to rush home after school to get there in time. You know, we didn't have a VCR to turn on Video One. And Video One was important because we got to see videos for kids like me who thought it was insanely ridiculous that they would pay for television, so I didn't have it on TV. At the time, we were the way we saw music videos, but also growing up, we knew you had an accent, so we knew you were from someplace else. Or someplace else. But the more we listened to you, the more you helped us understand that we lived in the place to be for creative people. That anybody who wanted to make art or make music or make culture, that no matter where you were from in the world, Los Angeles was a place that you wanted to call home and a place where you wanted to come and be creative. And so I am eternally grateful to you for that because it shapes the work that I do and so many of us do as a part of the leadership of the city today. So thank you, Richard Blake. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Richard. Richard Blake Day, City of LA.